too. You're listening to the Heroes Power presented by BlizzPro.com. Your hosts, Balrog fan Zexorus and DJ Tyrant. And I just muted myself for the stream. Hello, welcome to the Heroes Power, episode 53. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. A little bit of a rough start there for me. I'm so sorry, guys, but thank you for taking time out of your day to come join us. As always, I'm DJ Tyrant, and with me is Balrog fan and Zexorus. How are you guys doing? How was your week in gaming, Balrog?
It was pretty excellent. We played, I think, Thursday or Friday night, and I got ridiculously hype. That was one of the funnest nights I've had playing Heroes in a while. I find when I can just let loose and yell and give out a lot of energy, win or lose, it's a lot of fun. So I recommend that to everybody. Just scream stuff the entire time you're playing.
That helps.
Yeah. Act like an 8-year-old on Xbox, and you'll have a great time. As long as you're, being friendly. It's friendly screaming. It's not angry screaming. Zex, you?
It was pretty fun. I got to play with some of the Team Spooky guys the other night when you guys were like, "Hey, come play with us," and I'm like, "I'm playing with the Team Spooky guys," and then you guys just ditched me. I'm like, "Yeah, screw that Zex guy," and I'm like, "Oh,
you didn't have
whatever."
That's on you, buddy.
No, I'm not taking that blame. But no, I've been playing a lot of Artana since the buffs, and he feels like he feels like how I expected he should have when he dropped.
Yeah.
Like he now meets my expectations of how he should play. So I've been having just an absolute blast with Artanis. And getting some final Zool games in before
before the death of Zool.
Before the nerf hammer just smacks the crap out of him. And I vastly underestimated the skeleton build. Like,
yeah, sorry, Zex. The gain on your mic is a little high there. So
okay, I'm turning it down.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so but like the skeleton build is absolutely absurd. I didn't know that just taking his passive talents would put out that much damage.
Yeah, I mean his base damage is so good that when you increase something like a passive like that, it just gets out of control quick. Not to mention it really ups his pushing power, obviously.
Yeah, and like casting when you take jailers at 4, like, and then the skeleton talents at 7 and 13, like you just start gaining health just for casting jailer, just for casting bone prison. Like that's idiotic to me.
Yeah.
And then you take corpse explosion, and the skeletons die while they're still trapped. So it's free. It's a bone prison that now does damage. It's absolutely idiotic.
Yeah. I agree. I'm gonna call it pretty good. We'll just, since this kind of segues into that, we'll go right into these balance changes first. Obviously Zool needed some touching, and they announced Spirian put a community post out announcing the upcoming balance patches, which will hit live tomorrow. Another Wednesday change, which is always fun. And Zool, just across the board nerfs, basically. Overall, I think he's still going to be really good, but I think this will bring him more down to earth, because he's been a nightmare for everyone to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we made that silly video of Zool with the stim pack from Medic and just blowing up 4 teammates or team members on the opposing team, and it was silly. It just needed to get touched. I mean, it was At first, I was like, I thought he was in a really good spot, but after a while, I was like, okay, yeah, he probably does need to get a little bit touched. They're touching him a little more than I thought they would be with adjusting him here, and it'll be interesting to see how he's played, because we really didn't get a whole lot of time to really see him played in the professional scene, as far as I know. Because I only really pay attention, unfortunately, to North America, and they really haven't had anything lately. I mean, there was ETS, but outside of that, I don't think we've seen any Zool really.
Well, yeah, really everything's on hold for Heroes of the Dorm this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I'm looking at these changes on Zool, and they like the build that was in the video. It's not really touched that much. The only things that really affect him are the basic attack damage reduction and the 10% reduction in cursed strikes. But they didn't touch any of his other talents in regards to cursed strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ale Beard in chat did point out he did a lot of damage in the Korean scene apparently, and quickly became round 1 ban material. So kind of in line with how Li Ming was when she first came out, and how Tyrande was for a while there in that stun meta that we had a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things too where people just really like Zool, and you feel like you're doing something when you play him. Where Li Ming, like, it felt like you couldn't get to her. Like, you could at least try to duel against Zool, but I mean, like, you didn't win all the time, but it at least felt like you were making an effort to take him down. Early Li Ming felt like you just couldn't get anywhere near her, and to even attempt to do so most of the time just got you killed. So that, I think that's where more outrage for Li Ming existed as opposed to Zool. But Zool definitely, it was showing in his win percentages on hot slogs, just the kind of utility and damage he brought to a team, and the ability to siege structures. I mean, he really was the complete package. He was almost so good he could like be the only warrior on a team.
Yeah, like the first week he came out, I thought his win percentage was okay and not too out of control. But every week it goes up, and right now it's at 62.6%, which is that's scary range for a hero to be in. And he'll definitely be being brought back to Earth.
Okay, I didn't realize he was that high. Like,
it's on hot slogs, yeah.
I haven't checked hot slogs in a while, but like okay, yeah.
Number 2 is Rehgar at 53.8%, so almost a 10% difference.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And poor Rehgar, he's getting slapped around this time too.
Yeah, did we want to talk any more about Zool or move on to Bark Bark?
Just one more thing about Zool. I think the main thing that's going to happen here is the spectral scythe damage. That's where you're going to see a reduction in those numbers, because that was such, I mean, it was a good wave clear. It was good damage on enemy heroes. It's just a very versatile tool, and to up the mana cost and lower the damage, I think that alone is going to be enough to bring down his win percentage.
Yeah, and that the damage is going down from 300 to 240. That's a huge damage nerf.
60 points is how much they'll buff an ult occasionally when they want to see it pick more. You know, like,
yeah.
So off of a basic ability, that is very big. And I mean, it's nice to see that Bone Prison didn't get touched, because I love the functionality of Bone Prison. I hate getting caught in it, obviously, but I don't think there's anything truly wrong with that skill. It punishes people who put themselves in bad positions, and I'm always okay with that. So I was glad to see, like, a big nerf.
Yeah, and as a smart player, I mean, it's obviously going to get cast on you at some point in a game. There's no way around it. But once it gets cast on you, you know you have to move to an appropriate spot so that when it triggers, you're relatively safe, or there can be a rotation for your team coming over to protect you or something like that. So, I mean, it's a really good skill, Bone Prison, but it's definitely like you can respond to it.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, Rehgar, I mean, just one change. Ancestral Healing can no longer be cast on himself.
Wow.
Yeah, that is like that is Blizzard just basically saying, yeah, we're sick of your crap.
Yeah.
Back on the bench.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's pretty much unanimously across the board with pro level players do not like this change at all. And I tend to agree. I know, Zex, we disagree a little bit on this, but I liked how Rehgar's kit, you can play a bit more aggressive with them and kind of be in the thick of things, but you don't have that way to get out of it now with ancestral healing.
Yeah, it makes you play Rehgar like what he's supposed to be, a healer who adds damage abilities onto people. You know, you can't just go gung-ho and then expect to, save yourself when you screw it up. You know, like I posted that video, one of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong, and like I have a problem with a healer that can be played as a backup damage dealer.
Yeah,
I can see that. I don't know. I'm just a little bummed that they went down this path to nerf him, just because I feel like you're actively making that choice to use it on you, and they've bumped up the cooldown on it enough that I feel like that is fairly detrimental to your team if you have to use it on yourself.
I think this is just going to be like Cleanse, honestly. Like, this is going to be one of those things where it stays around for a while. Rehgar's going to plummet, and they're going to be like, all right, yeah, we went overboard. So this is just kind of them saying, we don't like Rehgar where he's at right now, and we'll figure it out in the future. For now, please stop picking him.
Yeah.
Kitchen asks, what's wrong with a hybrid? The problem I have with a hybrid is you're trying to do two things at once, and sometimes it comes off. There's no gray area when it comes to that. You're either going to do it incredibly well, as in Rehgar's case, or absolutely poorly, as in, like, let's say I try to build damage Uther. It's gonna be terrible. Like, you would get so much more mileage out of Uther being a straight up healer and damage preventer than trying to get the most out, like taking Holy Shock. Why would you take Holy Shock? Like, now, if you could cast Holy Shock on while you were in ghost form with Uther, that'd be godlike.
Used to be able to.
Yeah.
And I remember that, and that used to be
an
amazing
right?
talent to take up for a damage Uther.
You would die. You would just get yourself killed and then run in and stun everybody with his ult. They couldn't do anything to answer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a reason why they took that away. It did too much. It broke. It took him out of the mold he was supposed to be in, which was a healer, and gave him an unintentional kit.
Well, I guess my main problem only lies when supports can put out massive damage and massive healing, which is what Rehgar was doing. I mean, for a support, the amount of damage he provided with Lightning Shield, his ability to have better movement than most people on the field during fights with his wolf form, and the effect that he could jump in and slow somebody and pretty much with impunity either get away or chase them down if they were low. He did too much too well, and it's especially detrimental when that's on a support, because supports can mitigate the damage of 1 to 2 heroes at some points during the game when you check out the numbers. Rehgar's healing's at 75, 80,000 at the end of the game. And like, if they didn't pick true damage dealers, he really can clean up and stop stuff like that. Now, when it comes to hybrid like assassins and tanks and everything, I'm all for it because they affect the game much differently than supports do. Supports damage needs their damage needs to be low, or their healing needs to be different. Kind of like how Tassadar can put out decent damage and provide healing that is not. It's not like AoE healing. It's not burst healing. It's damage mitigation, which I'm fine with that.
So I guess more...
And Brightwing was just as big of a problem before these Rehgar changes. Before Brightwing got nerfed, you pick Brightwing, and she was picking that almost just flat out would win the game for your team. Your team would have to make an active effort to screw up.
Yeah, there was points where Brightwing's polymorph was way overtuned.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to kind of open this to a more broader discussion a little bit. about heroes just in general and specifically supports. What other supports do you think this opens up the game to now that Rehgar is potentially not a tier 1 support anymore? I think the obvious ones are Karazim.
Yep.
Medic. And
yeah, we've been seeing a lot more medic though.
And Uther, but mostly the high level play. I think he it's always been kind of discussed that he's much better in coordinated teams than in something like Quick Match or Hero League. But I think
especially
this helps
when you
him
spend
out.
your bans on someone like Rehgar.
Yeah.
I think Karazim's gonna come back in a huge way, because he pretty much does everything that Rehgar does, but in slightly different ways. Like, he brings the damage. Like, you have such a hard time going toe to toe with Karazim just because of just the deceptive amount of damage he can just throw on your head. Mm-hmm. And then heal and dash away to somewhere else. It's annoying to fight a Karazim face to face.
Yeah,
like, I hate doing it.
And
like, even if I'm playing Chen, like, he almost like out damages shield. He puts enough damage out to make me go, okay, time to move backwards and reset the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just remembered that he got changes last week? It was pretty recent. Karazim, right? He got some buffs, I think.
I don't.
He basically what they did was they made the Echo of Heaven proc when it did the second heal. That's less, but his base healing on
Echo of Heaven was higher.
No, Breath of Heaven
or Breath of Heaven, whatever. Yeah. Okay,
that was higher, and that basically opened it up, so he didn't have to take Echo of Heaven at 7, and was more. He has cleanse option now, which is nice.
Precisely.
Most healers should probably take cleanse. You're just going to need it. I do think we'll see a little more Tehran now. Tassadar's been kind of like sneakily climbing back into things, especially in like fixed teams where the goal is to shield a carry-esque character, such as you see it on Illidan from time to time and things like that. So I think we'll see some more. We're definitely going to see a lot more variety while people figure it out, because Rehgar was pretty much in almost every game there for a while.
Yeah, for a short time, his 4 weeks or whatever at the top.
Yeah, it was Rehgar medic, and that's all I was seeing.
Yeah.
Like, I played Quick Match.
Rehgar will no longer reign from his throne of own.
Rehgar removed from the game.
Yeah. Blizzard, bring back Counted Mines, please. Thanks in advance.
Yeah, exactly. But let's move on to one of the more interesting buffs in this upcoming patch coming tomorrow, and we're kind of just gonna have to wait and see. But I think initially on paper, both Zex and I are on the same page here that Nova's about to get real scary. Nova's health is increasing from 1273 to 1350. Health regen is going up 2.65 per second to 2.81 per second. Snipe's cooldown is decreasing by 2 seconds from 8 to 6. Mana cost decreasing by 10 from 60 to 50. Perfect shot talent, the cooldown reduction decreased from 4 to 3 seconds. And Pining shot, the slow amount increased from 30 to 40%. And the covert ops talent, maximum slow amount increased from 50 to 60%. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts, Bauer. I know you didn't talk too much in our group about it earlier today, but what do you think of these?
I'm not a big Nova player, but there's been a problem with her kit for a while, and they keep trying to figure out what it is. And I mean, you haven't seen her picked at the pro levels like very often for a long time. I can't remember the last time I heard about some sick Nova plays, So, I mean, these seem good on paper. I just wonder if there's just something inherently wrong with her kit. I mean, the health is probably going to help her a bit. Just her getting away. Snipe, it's core to everything she does, so they just made it better in every way. Pinning shot is a pretty good skill. It just never really sees the kind of use it was intended to, unless they take the vulnerability talent, which a lot of people were foregoing for the clone build. So I don't know. I still feel like Zeratul the cloaker of choice just because of Void Prison, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they continue to nerf Void Prison. I mean, it's been a little while, but it's always going to get picked. Just because it's always going to really control a fight. I'm interested to try out Nova again. I mean, I've mentioned this, I think, a couple times on the show. Nova was my first master skin, my first level 10 hero, but I really haven't played her since Alpha. Like, I've played a game here or there, but like I just really haven't played her since Alpha. So this makes me want to try her out again. So that'll be interesting. Zex, I know you had some strong feelings about this as well. Why don't you let us know?
Well, okay, so going down the list, like the health regen, that's an insane amount. That's an insane health buff. Like that's like she now has more health than Raynor.
Yeah.
You know, and for a stealthy, I'm not gonna complain about it. I love playing me some Nova, but is that really necessary? You know?
Yeah.
And then the health regen, that's going to scale real well too. I mean, granted, she doesn't have like a regen master talent, but still, you know, all right, guys, I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm kind of liking it. But like the changes to snipe, the cooldown decrease to 6 seconds, you know, the perfect shot talent. Wow, phone.
It's all good.
Wow.
Twitter.
But yeah, but like the cool, it still chops off 50%, you know, off the snipe cooldown. So now it's still, well, actually it's just 3 seconds, you know. So it's really a second improvement on perfect shot, which you need to start mixing that with a snipe master, and you're not really worried about missing at that point. I mean, yeah, it's gonna suck if you miss, but okay, 15 seconds later. And you possibly have all your stacks back, you know, and that's kind of insane to me. I mean, and then I don't see anybody. The pitting shot is good. I like pitting shot. I don't think I'm taking it over the vulnerability though.
Yeah, for sure. What I find most interesting about this post as a whole, moving away a little bit from Nova for a sec, is that they mentioned this is the patch that the Spring Global Championship is going to be on. I'm curious to see how invested the teams are going to be in practicing Nova and seeing if Nova actually makes an impact in the championship here. Because, I mean, they only have 2-3 weeks, maybe?
Okay, teams I think that'll run Nova. The Spring Championship?
Yeah.
We're going into? Okay. If I'm thinking of this right, I don't remember if My Insanity qualified.
They did, correct.
They might pull it out. Did Blaze qualify?
Blaze did not. From North America, we have Cloud9 and Naventic. I could see Naventic running this.
Yeah, Naventic could run it. But if Blaze had qualified, I would fully expect Blaze to run that. Maybe Cognitive. They both those teams kind of love their squirrely drafts and doing things outside the box. So I could absolutely see them running a Nova in their lineups. So, but the most likely candidate is Naventic and or maybe Cloud9. Cloud9 could do it because remember, I believe BlizzCon, did they not? Was it them who busted out the Rehgar? Not the Rehgar. I'm sorry, Rexar. Rexar.
I think they did. They did a game with Rexar, and they did
a
game with Murky as well.
With Morales as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember I remember a Doug Train interview where he was just like, "Yeah, it was a completely safe pick. They had no way to get to me, you know, after they won." So like, they're definitely not above thinking outside the box. So it's possible we could see a Nova pick during Spring Championship.
Yeah, I think most pro players are comfortable playing most heroes in this game. So it wouldn't surprise me if she was a strong counter pick option and she was available to see her taken.
Yeah. I think this will make Zool a much less attractive pick overall. And I honestly would be surprised a little bit if we see Zul. But maybe I'm overthinking these nerfs. And like you were saying, Zex, the build you used in that video we made, it's basically not touched.
Yeah, it's largely untouched. It was all cursed strike talents. The only thing that got changed was it's 10% less, attack speed reduction.
Yeah.
So we got a announcement about a new hero on Twitter.
Yeah.
They seem to be throwing out all these pictures about people crawling out of holes and footprints, and I gotta tell you, I don't play. I'm still working on the Wings of Liberty campaign for StarCraft 2, so this doesn't seem to mean as much to me as it does to you guys. Willie is basically convulsing in his chair over there. So how about you guys go ahead and talk about who you think it is, and explain a little bit about the hero, because or what the capabilities of this hero could be, what kind of specialty it could be, because I don't know. I've just seen pictures and I've watched a video.
I think Zex would like to
No, you go first, because I'm going to go on for quite a while, brother.
No, all right. Dahaka is what we're assuming this hero is going to be, just based on the 2 images that they released. They released an image with footprints with the 3 claws on them, and if you match that to the in-game model for him in StarCraft 2, it looks pretty darn close to a match. And also, he's part of the Heart of the Swarm campaign. A lot of lore behind that. So if you've checked out Heart of the Swarm, you're familiar with Dahaka. Zach, take it away.
Well, sorry, I had a timeout flame for speaking blasphemy in chat.
Oh no,
we don't do that in these parts.
Yep.
So yeah, Dahaka is probably one of my favorite StarCraft characters. Just for his reason for following Kerrigan around. Like, he knew that she was going to bring the most benefit to him. And he didn't care about the swarm in general or anything like that. He just cared about collecting essence and improving himself as a primal Zerg. So, he was a really interesting character to me based on that. And a while ago, there was a leak of voice interactions, and Dahaka's voice had already been done. And the interactions between Abathur and Dahaka are some of the funniest interactions I've ever listened to, ever. Like, they do not like each other on any level. They didn't like each other in the game. They certainly don't like each other now. But I'm going to speculate for a minute based on what I know about Dahaka in general and like general Zerg stuff. So the new picture they released today, obviously he burrowed.
Yeah, that's a very Zerg quality.
Yeah, and there's no Zerg that burrow. Zag doesn't burrow. Kerrigan doesn't burrow. Abathur doesn't burrow in the traditional sense. He tunnels somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to have someone who can hide and ambush, like a lurker, essentially. But he has, going off his StarCraft, his StarCraft abilities, he had a drag. He had an ability called drag, which was essentially like a Stitch's hook. But it also stunned as well. He also had an ability to generate brood from his spawn. So like it was like 2 little Dahakas running around. He could heal himself, but the other thing he could do was he could jump terrain.
Yeah.
So like the drag, we don't need another hooker. I don't think. The mend might be. They might add a devour command where he can eat an ally, like he could eat an allied creep or something like that, which would be really interesting. A similar ability would be Lich's Sacrifice from Dota 2. I would see it kind of working like that. he had an unfinished ability called Flurry, which was kind of like an AoE attack that just dealt splash damage to everything surrounding him. But like I think the burrow, the cliff jumper, probably a devour, and I don't. The devour might be his trait.
It could be, yeah.
That or the terrain jumper. But I expect him to either be a high mobility tank or assassin. Like I do not see him being a support in any way, shape, or form. Like Dahaka as a tank would be somewhat delicious in my mind. I think it would. Oh God, I just want to. I want this guy to hit the PTR so I can just buy him already.
Yeah.
Like what I did with Li Ming, because I almost never buy PTR on the PTR, but I saw Li Ming, I was like, I got to try this.
Yeah,
and,
you sat
he
in
gets
those,
on
like,
the
15-minute
PTR.
queues.
Oh jeez. But yeah, like he is going to be really fun just for ambush potential.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that is a burrow skill,
yeah,
like you could center up entire team fights just around an absolutely hidden unit because there's no pure detection, save for Tassadar and anyone who has clairvoyance. So, like, Dahaka would force you to waste a talent pick almost, or make you pick Tassadar. So, it's going to be really interesting to see like his skill set. I'm pumped. I'm just I want to get my hands on. I love his character design. He's so cool.
Definitely. And so I think we're all in agreement. We think it's Dahaka, unless Charlie wants to throw something out there, a little wild curveball.
It's definitely. I mean, no, like you said, no one else really burrows, from my understanding. I mean, unless they're just like, hey, Zergling, Lurker,
Hunter Killer.
Right.
There is some Twitter spatting earlier after the first reveal where Royal Brightwing, Royalite on Twitter, she said that it was going to be Vol'jin on a raptor mount, and I said I'd hold her personally responsible if it wasn't Dahaka.
Nice. Well, I tweeted out today after the tweet came out about this mystery just got a whole lot deeper. I tweeted out an image of the mole from Super Mario World. I'm like, that's obviously what it is, guys.
Probably.
Yeah. But anyways, it's not in the show notes, but I really wanted to quickly go over the Heroes of the Dorm. The brackets got announced for that on Sunday night on ESPNU of all places. Blizzard kind of doubling up on their partnership with ESPN for Heroes of the Dorm, and it was really cool to see people I looked up to and call friends on TV. Gilly Rood was on there with Solid Jake, Trixler, and Cloaken from Blizzard. So it was really cool to see that revealed live. I wish it had been like an hour or two so they could have really dug into the matchups here, because I think there's some really, really interesting teams in the event this year. And especially we're coming up on a year, obviously, since the last Years of the Dorm. We got introduced to a lot of people there. And a lot of the players on these teams are actually professional Heroes players in their own right. I'd have to say the favorite from what I'm seeing is pretty clearly ASU, Arizona State. They did come in second last year. A couple of people on their team are still on the same team, but they do have a couple new players as well. It's going to be on ASU is going to be Michael Udall, the always famous assassin for Panda Global. Snickers, Shot, aka Face, or Aka Face, however you want to pronounce it, and Fam. I believe Udall, Aka Face, and Fam were all on the team last year. But one of the more interesting things, and I think the thing, if you're going to fill out the bracket and want to have your best bracket that you can is look, first of all, obviously at their match and game records. All the number 1 seeds, I think, have 0 losses across the board. But the other thing to really take a look at is ASU's average game time is 12 minutes and 56 seconds. That is absurd. Like, that is some really quick games.
I was just going to remind people, too, they only have 3 days to fill out the brackets.
Yeah, that's correct. If you're listening to this on the podcast, how long is it?
You have until the 18th to fill out a full bracket.
Yeah,
I think you can still
18th?
fill out after, maybe? I don't know.
I'm not sure. But anyways, really quickly, we're going to segue and talk about what you get for filling out the portrait. You get, or filling out the bracket, you get an in-game portrait. And if you're in the top 500, you get that Asmodunk bundle. And if you win and get a perfect bracket, $10,000 that you can get. And I think the other big team to really look out for, ASU is in Group D. In Group B, we have UT Arlington, known as Dark Blaze.
I have them going all the way.
That's the other one that could potentially win this entire thing very easily. They have 6 members on their team, but 3 of their members are from Team Blaze. So they have Cure, Mist, DXN817, who stood in for Jason during the North American Championships, Claudius, and Yuge, the support for Team Blaze. And if you look at their statistics, they're even better than ASU's. 2-0 in matches, 4-0 in games, 12:32 average game time.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And in Group C, Yukon looks pretty good right now. They do have Dan Lee for 3, another professional player. 3-0 in matches, 6-0 in games, 16:25 average game time. They should be able to escape that group. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think Group A is going
coming out of there.
What was that?
I have Cal coming out of there.
Cal is another one. So if we take a look at Cal, Cal was the winner of last year. They do not have any returning members for this year, but Cal traditionally, I know I talked about this last year on the show, and I think most people called Cal winning it last year. They've always been really strong in esports, and this year probably will be not too much different. And we took a real quick look at their stats: 4-0 in matches, 8-0 in games, 15:02 average game time.
They're the only ones with the average team deaths of 1.
Yeah, that's another very interesting statistic to
Wait,
take a look at too.
stop. 1?
Yeah.
Oh, I take that
1.
back. Another team I have coming out of the A, Assumption, they have average team deaths of 1 as well.
Okay, and they're the number 3 seed in there.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Who is the feeder on that team? Like, who is their bad player? Like, good Lord.
Once every game.
Yeah.
That's not even fit. That's not even. And you guys are throwing out all these stats at me.
Oh, I know.
Because
I have
paid the least amount of attention, and woefully so, to Heroes of the Dorm. I didn't get a chance to watch it last year. I'm probably not going to get a chance to watch it this year because I'm busy all weekend. Mm-hmm. But I keep hearing pro players, and really, in one hand, I can kind of understand the pro players who are in college wanting to enter in this, and they have every God-given right to. On the other hand, I kind of feel like, man, that's not fair.
No, it is. If they're going to college, they get a chance at free tuition and they get the exposure of ESPN. I don't know anyone in their right mind that would pass that up.
Yeah, I mean,
and they absolutely have every God-given right to take that opportunity. You know,
if this gets
it's
bigger,
just, I feel like it's like throwing NBA players at a middle school team.
Well, no, because that's what college athletics is. One play. I mean, Dwayne Wade was in college, or Carmelo Anthony was in college. They were part of these tournaments, and they had an advantage because they were NBA ready. If the schools want to compete, they need to make room for pro esports players. You recruit.
Yeah, I think I'd have a problem if some of these teams had like full rosters full of like Ori Pro teams. But since it's not like that, I think I don't have as much of a problem with it. I understand where you're coming from, though, Zex. And it is a little weird, for sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's a weird quandary because, like, I have a problem with it, and at the same hand, I completely understand why they're doing it, you know? But, like I said, it's like throwing NBA players at a middle school team, you know? Like, not all these guys are on a pro level. And I forget who was 3/5 of Team Blaze?
UT Arlington.
Yeah, that's not fair. You've got 3 guys on a pro team. That's more than enough. The other 2 can follow suit quickly enough.
I think Alebeard just nailed it perfectly in chat, though. The demographic of pro player is often some kid who's going to school for the future while playing a game on the side. This is what makes Heroes of the Dorm great. It's actually offering players who are playing these games a legitimate shot at bettering their future. Where most of it is sponsors selling these kids a dream.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of fallout when their skills start to decline.
Really, the kind of Cinderella of this entire competition is really look at Fan. He was on Berkeley last year. He won Heroes of the Dorm. He got signed on to Cloud9. He won BlizzCon. And now he's on Niantic going for another championship in a few weeks. I mean, that's incredible to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I love the concept of Heroes of the Dorm. I absolutely adore it. I think it is an amazing thing that Blizzard is doing with this. Like, that is, and I am probably literally the only person on the planet who has my particular opinion of this, and I'm absolutely okay with that. You know, you can't please everyone. I just happen to be that one person.
Yeah, for sure.
Know? And we'll be it'll be on this weekend. I think we're gonna try to watch it on and off throughout the weekend because it's on it's gonna be on Twitch. So
it's gonna be on Twitch and ESPN3 as well.
We'll tweet out we'll tweet out the Discord link if you want to hop in and sit and chat with us while we watch it or something.
Yeah, the only bummer I have with it is it's on early for me. I know, woe is me. 7 a.m. for me.
Oh, my beautiful weather.
I have to get up early.
Oh, no, I need my beauty sleep.
I did want to mention, though, really quickly, I think the number 1 seed of Group A, Waterloo, is not going to get to the Final Four.
No.
I really don't see them getting out of that group.
That far down? Like, why they got seeded so low? Maybe they ran into... I mean... What, maybe they ran into someone like a Team Blaze or a Cal or an ACU.
Yeah, but they didn't lose a single map. I don't understand how they got seeded that way. Because, I mean, if you look at the statistics between Assumption and Waterloo, they're basically... they're basically the same. But the average game time for Assumption is 1440 compared to 1850 for Waterloo.
Maybe Tennessee and Waterloo just had a better strength of schedule. I don't really know how these seeds...
I don't know how they do that.
It's all like a giant...
Details.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Go fill out your brackets.
Fill out your brackets. The prizes, you get free stuff just for filling one out. You never know. You have a chance at winning $10,000 cash. I mean... Who doesn't want $10,000 cash just for taking 10 minutes to click around and guess at a bracket? It's the reason March Madness is so successful every year. People love to gamble and bet on the outcome of competitive events, and that's what this is. It's a fun thing that Blizzard's doing, and it's great for the people in college.
And the finals will be
great.
The finals will be in Seattle. I am making plans on going up there, so if you're in the area, you can check it out. It's free.
If you want to stay tight.
If you want to stay tight, make sure you go to the event.
Should we do the raffle now?
Yeah, we can do the raffle.
We should probably do the raffle.
Yeah,
let's do the raffle.
So if you're in chat right now, Jimmy's going to go ahead and run through what you need to do in order to enter the raffle. It is for the Kaiju or Kaijo?
Kaiju.
Kaiju. Kaiju Diablo skin, so please don't enter if you already have it, because it will do you no good. So just, yeah. Jimmy, go ahead and break down what they're supposed to do.
So yeah, go apostrophe, or oh my gosh, exclamation point raffle, and we'll close it in the next few minutes here as we, I think, wrap things up. I don't know, did we want to, we kind of went over a little bit.
Yeah, we went over. We'll push. We can jump into the Reddit one real quick while the raffle's going, cause
for sure.
Is somebody starting the raffle? Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, it should be going.
So yeah, exclamation mark raffle if you want the Kaiju Diablo skin. What's hot on Reddit this week is taking cues from the tank. It is assassins. If you are low on health, running away with your tank, and your tank turns to get off a stun, slow, or blind, or to body block, we are not re-engaging. This was the most active post on Heroes of the Storm Reddit last week. And we've all been there. We've all been in that situation where you're Johanna, and you're like, okay, my guy's looking like he's in trouble. I'm going to go in there and provide him a stun, give him a little bit of a body block, and he can get out of there. Instead, Kelthis turns around and re-engages. Raynor stays right where he is and starts shooting, and they end up dying. And I think this is just more of a public service announcement. Be aware of who's running into the situation. People like Murky probably are very comfortable dying for you. Someone like Brightwing or Charism is probably relying to get you a heal and use your spacing during the runaway to teleport back to you. Just the tankiest of the tanks, like Johanna and ETC, they're just probably trying to get in there and create some space, create a stun, get you some time to get away. So, I mean, just watch what the situation is. If you were just getting bopped over and over again by somebody, and somebody comes in to try and stop that from happening, and it's just you two, probably don't start, dueling with the people. Yeah, I'm sure Willie's been in this situation more than a few times, being the guy who's usually on tanks, so...
Yeah, absolutely. If I am peeling for you and trying to get people off you, like if I am 1v4ing and you guys are almost dead, I am 1v4ing them for a reason. I am trying to get them to focus me so the rest of you don't die. Stop running towards the enemies. You're not Jimmy Raynor in the American flag suit. These colors don't run. But just run. A good tank knows how to peel and get out. A good tank knows how to peel and peel the enemy backwards and sacrifice themselves to reset a situation where you guys can go to a different lane and just scatter.
I will raise my hand and admit I am terrible at this. I re-engage all the time. It is bad.
I know.
I actually I just included this topic so we could basically
bash on me.
Someone in the comment section also added, and just to piggyback on this, you do not need to dive to save my Aberther clone, you idiot. Just keep running. And then someone says sequences useful, tactics regrettable.
Oh my gosh. Reddit never changed.
The main thing is just one of the things you can really take out of this though is being aware of what Charism and Murky can do. If you see them coming towards you, they're not going there to go for a full-on engage. And they need you to escape. So be aware of their spacing on their teleports and what they can do to be able to get back to safety. Because they're trying to save you. That doesn't mean they're deaths when they can easily get away. But if you just, if they come in and you use an ability that just gives you a bunch of move speed and you just run away out of their teleport range or something, just don't give them a chance to come with you. It's kind of just you're breaking even, and it's really selfish to play like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good thread, good reminder to just pay attention to your tank and respond appropriately.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been so many hair-pulling incidents where, like, I have gotten an incredible peel off. Like, I've peeled 2-3 people off of almost dead assassins or specialists or supports even, and then they've turned around and re-engaged, and everyone died when only one had to die. They're like, what are you doing, tank? Why'd you re-engage? I was peeling you, idiot. Like, why did you re-engage? You had a clear shot at the fountain or a chance to hearth out, and you absolutely failed. Like, why are you criticizing me for doing my job?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not at blame for this. You are, you stupid.
All right. Did we want to close out the raffle?
Well, we should at least give people one more minute to join in. Hey,
we're going to give you 1 minute.
What are we on? Some kind of clock here?
No, not at all. So, exclamation point raffle gets you involved in the raffle for the Kaiju Diablo skin. I believe if you don't have the hero, you also get the hero as well. So, go ahead and raffle away.
Halfengrim added 2 to that. This goes for supports. Just because Morales shows up doesn't mean you've got an invulnerability buff. So, yeah. I mean, just in general, be aware of what your teammates can do for you, and especially in that situation where somebody comes to save you. And, yeah, I think we probably got all the people that are going to join the... Halfengrim, the raffle is for a Kaiju Diablo skin. If you want to join, type exclamation raffle in chat, and you will get that skin.
Stay tight. Should be the raffle command.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Ale.
It seems like everybody wants... I mean, if we could ever get a personalized emojis, I think Stay Tight would be at the top of that list and used to a massive extent. Tripod 10? Oh, nice. Good. We got more people.
Yeah.
So, does Halfengrim want to join? If Halfengrim wants to join, he has to type in exclamation raffle before we close it out. I don't know if he already has the Kaiju Diablo skin or not, because he was asking about it.
Yeah.
Make sure you're checking out Heroes of the Storm .blizpro.com every week for our articles, our various builds. Alebeard always writes up some great articles about how to play. Whether you're new or seasoned veteran, he can probably school you in one way or another. You can always learn something cool from Alebeard. Me and Willie always write the builds up, so check those out. We have a Patreon account if people want to donate. We're going to start trying to ramp up these giveaways on a weekly basis. And we'll have more details about that coming soon. But rest assured, there will probably be another skin next week. So if you're catching this on the podcast and you're thinking, "Oh man, I missed out. I could have been in chat and won a free Kaiju Diablo skin." Well, next week we'll have another skin to give away. So there's always next week.
Yeah, definitely. And I did want to mention BlizPro.com. Really great hosting us and everything. And there are other really great shows to check out. Tomorrow night is the West March Workshop, so if you're into Diablo, Season 5 is quickly approaching its end. I did close the raffle, guys. I'm sorry. We'll be drawing in just a second here. But my good friend J-How will be on the show, it sounds like, tomorrow night with Leviathan there, so talking all Diablo stuff. PTR is up for Diablo, I know that, and... also on Thursdays, the other show that I am on, Payload Podcast, about all things Overwatch. And Sunday nights, always make sure you check out Well Met, the Hearthstone podcast for BlizPro. They do a really great job over there. And no, I probably worded that wrong. I meant the season 5 is approaching its end. West March Workshop is sticking around for a long time, I'm sure. Anyways,
if I can interject here real quick. If you missed Well Met yesterday, you missed I dislike Hearthstone with a burning, fiery passion. But yesterday's episode was absolutely amazing. Like, they had Firebat on, who is apparently the top winningest player in Hearthstone.
He won the first Hearthstone tournament, the first Hearthstone major.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently, and I had no idea what they were talking about, but I was completely enraptured by the show, just for the amount of professional level input that like everyone brought to the table, and it was a really good show. And it made me think for a minute, hey, maybe I should play Hearthstone. And then I remembered, no, I absolutely detest Hearthstone.
Oh man!
But I at least opened the game.
There you
and
go.
then remember, no, this is a bad idea. I'm going to get really angry. I'll play HOTS instead.
So, why don't you pick our winner there?
I did pick our winner. It is going to be Just a Joke Junkie won our first raffle for the Kaiju skin. I'll be sending that to you over private message on Twitch from the Blizz Pro account here just shortly here. Yeah, congratulations. We'll have more. I have a lot more skins from various events I've been to that I can still give away. So stay tight. Listen to the show. We'll be here.
Yep. We'll see you next week.